Yo, what up guys, I'm Sammy and welcome back to the Soul Drop, and this is my first impressions look on Steph Curry's brand new shoe with Under Armour / I guess Curry brand, right? And this is the Curry 11. It retails for 160 bucks, which is the same exact price as his last model, right, which was the Curry 10. So if you guys do want to cop either of these shoes, I try to leave an affiliate link in the description box. But let's get it started right off with the Tracciones, and this is the same exact traction pattern as every single freaking shoe that has flow. So I'm pretty sick of it. I mean, I guess if it ain't broke, don't fix it. However, how many shoes have had this traction pattern, right? So the Flow Future X, the original one, and the second one, right? The Curry 8, Curry 9, Curry 10, Curry 1 Floatro, Curry 2 Floatro, and the Curry 4 Floatro. So that's a lot of shoes, man. You know what I mean? But of course, the Flow outsole has amazing traction. It almost bites way too hard. I mean, not almost. It bites too hard, you know? I mean, my experience from playing in flow outsoles is that my knees and my feet, like my ankles, because it stops so hard, it kind of hurts, you know what I mean? So you do have to be careful on that, especially when you're playing on a clean court, and the Curry 11 is no exception. But it does pick up a little bit of dust, right? It does pick up a little bit of dust and starts to slide around if it does get a little too dusty, right? But for the most part, it's been very, very good for me in all the other past models with flow outsole. So there's that. And obviously for outdoor use, this definitely is not the best because it's basically just foam. It's not using rubber at all, which is very good for reducing weight, but for durability, it's not the best. I mean, I played with the Curry 8 on an outdoor court and it wasn't terrible actually. It's not as bad as I thought it would be, but it's definitely not, it's obviously not the best option, right? So if you do want to play on an outdoor court, then it'll probably be okay, or like a little bit worse than okay, but it's not terrible, right? So yeah, there you go. It's flow outsole. Nothing special, right? And now moving on to the heel to toe transition, also super duper nice. Currys have always had very, very nice heel to toe transition because they're all using the same exact kind of shape pretty much, because it's like the same exact outsole, midsole with the flow, right? So here in the heel, we have a very nice curve shape, which feels very, very nice and smooth. And then same thing here in the forefoot. And we have a good amount of forefoot flex. Look at that, you know? Compare that to the Curry 10. The Curry 10 is actually a little bit more stiff, it feels like, and it actually flexes a little bit more into the tip of the toe, right? If you guys can see right here, the Curry 11 actually flexes a lot more towards the midfoot as well. So I do like how that feels. It feels a lot more smooth in that way. But there, of course, there is a plastic midfoot chain plate. You guys can see it exposed on the bottom of the outsole. So the overall heel to toe transition is super duper smooth, pretty much like all the shoes have flow, right? And also now moving on to the cushioning setup, from the bottom we can see this kind of exposed foam. That's what I was very, very excited about, especially from the leaked images, right? So is this a different foam? It says it's flow, right? But it says also that it's dual density, right? And we can see that with this teal colored midsole on the lateral and also on the medial side, it's actually kind of soft. There is a good amount of like give to it when I press it with my finger. However, it's the same exact cushioning setup pretty much. This dual density thing doesn't really do anything, you know what I mean? So as far as the insole goes, the insole is just a regular ortholite insole. It feels like nothing special. Same thing as like the Curry 10, all the other shoes that have flow, right? But also the strobo board is very, very stiff. So please, Under Armour, if you guys are seeing this video, please for the love of God, make your cushioning setup a little bit better in all your shoes with flow, right? I've tried flow in their running shoes, and in their running shoes it's super duper nice. It's soft. It also has a nice little bounce to it, but then they make it thin, so it's not even like that unstable or anything, right? I mean, basketball, you need the cushion to be a little bit more stiff, a little bit more responsive. That makes sense. However, making it this stiff and making it this much more different from like the flow midsole and outsole in the running shoes than their basketball shoes is kind of misleading in my personal opinion, right? And yeah, and also please use a soft mesh strobo board. I mean, the court feel of course is really good, right? The court feel in the Curry 11, Curry 10, pretty much all the shoes that have flow have pretty good court feel, right? So here in the Curry 11, same thing. Very good court feel. And there's not that much compression from the actual midsole, you know what I mean? It's not super duper soft, there's a little bit. Actually, comparing it to the Curry 10, the Curry 10 feels like it has a little bit more compression if I'm nitpicking, right? Obviously, I tried both of them at the same time, like right before filming this video, and the Curry 10 felt a little bit softer. You know what I mean? So to improve the cushioning setup drastically, especially if they're using a dual density foam, and me feeling this, like I said, is actually kind of soft, right? If they just add a mesh strobo board, like in the freaking AG4s, you know what I mean? Or all the Chinese companies that have it, you know? The KT9 step-in comfort is great. The AG4 for $100 with that soft mesh strobo board, it's amazing, you know what I mean? So if they had the dual density flow, right, and they had that soft mesh strobo board, you can still keep a very, very low to the ground feel with good step-in comfort, right? And also, it would still be responsive because it's a thin foam, but you would actually increase or improve the cushioning setup, especially for step-in comfort, right? So anyways, I digress. Please add it in the Curry 12, you know what I mean? Because the Curry 11, not it. I thought this dual density setup would be nice, but it's actually not. It's pretty much the same exact setup as every other shoe that's had flow. So yeah, there you go, right? And now moving on to the upper. So the upper also isn't that much of a difference as well, right? So we have warp. We have the UA warp upper. So it's basically like a bunch of straps. So there's this underlaying material, which is like a very thin mesh material. And then we have straps over that. And then we have stitching over that, right? So I believe it started from the Curry 9, right? The Curry 9, also obviously the Curry 10 has it. And now the Curry 11 has it. So cool, we have it on the lateral side. And then here in the toe box, right, where your toe is, on top of your toe, we have this fuse material. And it actually feels a lot more supportive here, like on top of your toe, which is where you don't really need that much support. But anyways, we have that. We also have a bit of shiny fuse on the medial side. And then here on the medial side, they're calling this the UA IntelliKnit, right? So it's basically like a knit material. It feels nice and soft, it's comfortable and stuff like that, but it does feel a little glued down. It kind of reminds me of like the Kobe 9s, you know? So yeah, it's super duper thin. So it's a very, very thin material, and obviously with this fuse overlaying this kind of warp upper, this will probably improve the durability and also support of the material, so that's great. Although the fuse, like the synthetic material, does feel a little cheap, right? But it does conform to my foot very well, it does feel supportive, and also it does feel minimal, so not much more I can ask for, right? And then here in the midfoot, it does stay extremely thin. However, with these eyelets, right, you guys can see the eyelets, they're basically just straps. These straps go individually down into the actual midsole. So you can see it underneath this material, and that obviously adds for a little bit more support and durability as well, which of course is a good thing. So once you tighten the laces, it kind of tightens over your foot a little bit more in the midfoot, which does feel very nice for the lockdown. And then for the tongue, it's pretty much the same exact tongue as the Curry 10, you know, and it has a nice bit of padding. It does feel nice and plush on top of your foot. It's also a half booty construction tongue, giving you a better overall one-to-one fit. And then here in the ankle area, we have very minimal padding, just like the Curry 10s, just like the Curry 9, the Curry 8, the Curry 1 Floatrail, Curry 2 Floatrail, Curry 4 Floatrail, right? So yeah, it feels very similar to the Curry 10. It's a super minimal material, right? Which is not a bad thing, right? And also it feels very supportive. So, and also we do have an external TPU heel counter, which is a nice little change in design, I guess, right? So there is the upper there. I mean, for 160 bucks, I definitely feel like it's not the best for quality, but it's not terrible, right? And now moving on to the fit. So I went up half a size. I've been going up half a size for a lot of my shoes, and it fits me perfectly. It fits me pretty much like a glove. So my toes go very close to the edge of the shoe, right? It's also super snug here in the toe box, and width-wise, I would say it's slightly narrow, right? So it's a perfect fit for me. I love how Curry's fit my foot. You know, I feel like me and Curry probably have like the same shape foot or something. I don't know, but all of his shoes fit me extremely well. And then here in the Curry 10, however, I went true to size, and it fits me extremely well too. So I don't know what's going on with the fit, right? So I don't know, like if you guys look at the actual size of the shoe, it is pretty much the same. Look at that. It's the same exact size, and the Curry 11 is actually, like, I went up half a size, like I said. So yeah, I mean, if you want a very nice snug fit, go up half a size. If you want a super snug fit, go true to size, but be careful with that. And if you have a wide foot, probably go up a full size, right? But for me, it fits me very, very well. And now moving on to the weight of the shoe, this shoe will probably be very, very light because Currys are always light, especially with the flow, right? So I'm guessing like 11. Yeah, 11.25 ounces. Let's check the other shoe. 11.25 ounces. The exact same weight for left and right shoe, which is of course very, very good. And then the Curry 10 was 11.15 ounces. So, I mean, this is a half size shorter, so I guess that does make sense. It's a little bit lighter, but pretty much the same exact weight. And yeah, I mean, it feels very minimal and very lightweight on foot, and you feel like a ninja because this shoe has zero squeak, which kind of sucks. I wish Flow did squeak. That's just, I mean, it doesn't really matter for performance. However, I like to have a little bit of squeak in my shoes, you know what I mean? So there is the weight there. Moving on to the aesthetics. I mean, I got it in hand, actually looks pretty nice. However, I definitely feel like it doesn't look as good as like the Curry 10. Like the Curry 10 looks really, really dope. I would say the Curry 10 is my favorite as far as like flow goes in his entire shoe line. And then I would say the Curry 11, and then the Curry 9, and then the Curry 8, right? But this colorway definitely looks really, really sick. You know, I love the incorporation of this kind of like mint color, right? Especially for the midsole, but it does look very much like a running shoe. And also, I don't really like how this part looks. You know what I mean? With like his logo and stuff like that. I feel like this looks a lot cleaner here in the 10. So tell us what you guys think of the aesthetics down in the comment section below. So wrapping things up, yeah, it's the freaking same exact shoe every single year from the Curry 8. Curry 8, Curry 9, Curry 10, now the Curry 11, the exact same thing. I was hoping for something different because of the dual density foam, but it's the exact same thing pretty much. I mean, it's not a bad thing because Currys have always performed very, very well, and you know how it's gonna feel because of the flow outsole, right? But then change it up a little bit, guys. Please change it up. You know, give us a better cushioning setup. You know, give us a soft mesh strobel board. It's not gonna increase the cost that much, I don't think. You know what I mean? And this is $160 freaking dollars, right? The Curry 1 and Curry 2 Floatro is going for 130 bucks. So you can save 30 bucks and pretty much get the same exact shoe. You know what I mean? So I really don't understand why they keep doing this and why they keep giving us the same exact shoe. I wonder what they can change up. Like, what do you guys want to see? Do you guys want to see like a different pattern on the outsole, different cushioning setup? I don't know. Like, what else can they do differently? You know what I mean? But I do want something different though, please. For the Curry 12, something different. But anyways, that about concludes my first impressions look on the Curry 11. Again, if you guys do want to cop, I try to leave an affiliate link in the description box, but that's it. Thank you guys for watching, and I'll see you guys in the next one.